Every night, my dead grandmother sits at the foot of my bed. The first time I saw her, I nearly choked on my own fear. Moonlight spilled through the gap in my curtains, painting a silver bar across the foot of my bed. And there she was. Grandma Elsie. She was exactly as I remembered her. Wrinkled hands clasped in her lap, her silver hair pulled back in a tight bun, and those soft, knowing eyes fixed on me. The eyes that used to twinkle with mischief when she slipped me an extra cookie before dinner, the eyes that had held mine with such love on my scraped knees. Except, she was dead. 2 years gone, taken by the cruel embrace of a heart that simply gave up. I squeezed my eyes shut, whispering a silent prayer for sleep to claim me. When I dared to peek again, she was still there. Immobile, silent, just watching. Terror morphed into a strange, unsettling curiosity. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. My tongue felt thick and heavy, my limbs leaden. All I could do was lie there, a prisoner in my own fear, under the unwavering gaze of my dead grandmother. This became my nightly reality. Every night, after the house settled into its quiet rhythm, she would appear. The same silver hair, the same clasped hands, the same sorrowful eyes. She never spoke, never moved, never acknowledged me in any way beyond that steady, unsettling gaze. Sleep became a luxury, a fleeting escape from the constant, spectral presence. My days were filled with a gnawing anxiety, a constant awareness of the impending night. I tried everything. Nightlights, sage smudging, even a frantic call to a local medium, who, after a brief consultation and a hefty fee, declared my house perfectly clean. My friends started to worry. I was pale, withdrawn, and perpetually exhausted. "You need therapy," one of them insisted. Or maybe just a really good exorcist. But I knew it wasn't the house. It was her. And I couldn't understand why. One night, desperation finally overcame my fear. As Grandma Elsie materialized at the foot of my bed, I forced myself to speak. My voice was a shaky whisper, barely audible above the rustling of the leaves outside my window. "Grandma?" She didn't react. "Grandma, why are you here?" I pleaded, tears welling in my eyes. "What do you want?" Still nothing. I spent weeks speaking to her, pouring out my hopes and fears, my triumphs and failures. I told her about my new job, my struggles with dating, the little victories and heartaches that made up my life. I told her how much I missed her. And still, she remained silent. Then one night, as I was rambling about a particularly disastrous first date, I mentioned a small inheritance she had left me, a sum of money I'd been too afraid to touch. I'd told myself I was saving it for something important, but really, I was just afraid of spending it wrong, of disappointing her. "I'm just so scared of messing it up, Grandma," I confessed, my voice thick with emotion. "It feels like it's supposed to be for something special, something worthy of you." This time, something changed. A flicker, almost imperceptible, crossed her face. It vanished as quickly as it appeared, but I saw it. A hint of something akin to pain? Days later, I woke up with a strange compulsion. I knew I had to do something, but I couldn't quite grasp what. It was a feeling, a nagging intuition in the back of my mind, pushing me towards a specific action. I remembered Grandma Elsie talking about her childhood, about her dream of opening a small bakery, a dream she was never able to pursue due to family obligations and the hardships of the Great Depression. The next day, I started researching. I found a small, run-down storefront in a quiet neighborhood, a place that seemed to whisper with potential. The rent was affordable, and the location was promising. It was then that I knew. I was going to open a bakery. The renovation was a monumental task, draining my savings and pushing me to my limits. But with each nail hammered, each wall painted, I felt a strange sense of peace settling over me. It felt right. Finally, the day arrived. Elsie's Sweets, the sign above the door read, the letters painted in a whimsical, old-fashioned font. That night, I waited, bracing myself for her arrival. But she didn't come. For the first time in months, I slept soundly, without fear, without the weight of her silent presence. In the days and weeks that followed, Elsie's sweets flourished. The aroma of freshly baked bread and pastries filled the air, attracting a steady stream of customers. It wasn't just the food that drew them in, though. It was the atmosphere, the warmth, the feeling of stepping back in time. One evening, as I was closing up shop, a young woman approached the counter. She looked familiar, somehow. "Excuse me," she said, her voice hesitant. "Is this bakery named after Elsie Brown?" My heart skipped a beat. "Yes," I replied. "She was my grandmother." The woman smiled, a familiar twinkle in her eyes. "She was my grandmother too. I never knew she wanted to open a bakery. But I always felt like she regretted something. Like she never quite fulfilled her dreams." We talked for hours that night, sharing stories of Elsie, of her kindness, her strength, her unwavering love. And as I listened, I understood. Grandma Elsie wasn't haunting me. She was guiding me. She wasn't trapped in some spectral limbo, but rather, trying to help me fulfill a dream that never had the chance to blossom in her own life. She finally found peace when I followed her unspoken direction. She wasn't sitting at the foot of my bed anymore. She was finally home. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories like this.